What is happening, guys, and welcome back to the channel. For today's discussion video, we have some super exciting things to talk about, those ranging from some brand new Transformers Rise of the Beast characters to even more Legacy Evolution Year 2 listings, and possibly, just possibly, our first look into some 2024 Transformers Legacy Year 3 characters. So a lot of things to talk about. For those of you who are looking to get to a specific part of the video, be sure to check out the chapter times down in the description box below, and whilst you're down there, be sure to chuck a cheeky like on the video, as it goes a long way in helping the channel out. So we're just going to get stuck straight into things, and first of all we have the Rise of the Beast character announcement, and a new character which was never rumoured up until this point, and it is none other than Stratosphere. Now, for those of you thinking this is quite a familiar sounding character, you wouldn't be mistaken. Stratosphere did actually have a complete toy created of him way back in the 2009 Revenge of the Fallen days, and I believe even had some minor appearances in a few of the live action movie comics, so that's super exciting. Will they borrow the design from those 2009 comics or toys for this Rise of the Beast movie? I guess we'll have to wait and see, and he will actually be voiced by John DiMaggio, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who did voice Crosshairs in Transformers 4 and 5, which I thought was a sick character actor. I mean, come on. Crosshairs was one of the most charismatic characters that we saw from Transformers 4. Sadly, he didn't have much of a chance to shine in Transformers 5, but Transformers 4, Crosshairs was a chef's kiss. And I guess this kind of fills in the gap of how the Autobots are going to be transporting themselves from Brooklyn to Peru to face off against the Terracons in the final battle. So it kind of fills in a few plot voids. I mean, I was hoping that they weren't going to go the Transformers 5 route and basically just have the Autobots appearing here, there, and everywhere. I mean, at one point, Bumblebee was in America, then he was in London, and then they were in some kind of, I don't even know where they were, fighting off against Quintessa. That movie was just an absolute mess. So it does appear as if, though, the Autobots are going to be kind of rolling out with Stratosphere, who I imagine is going to be a pretty big cargo plane, and he will transport them to Peru. Will he stick around and actually convert into bot mode and face off against the Terracons? I don't know, but if he does, that is just going to be so sick. I mean, can you guys imagine a cargo carrying plane transforming on the battlefield and fighting against the Terracons? It's just going to be so mind-blowing. So I thought that was a really exciting piece of news, and something which came as a complete surprise. Now we're going to get stuck into some Transformers Legacy Year 2 listings. Now, I recently did an entire video where I thought I covered pretty much everything, but no, there were even more listings. So let's get stuck straight into it. We're going to talk through core class first of all. So we're expecting to see a core Nemesis Prime. We all know what to expect from this. It's going to be a straight up repaint of the Earthrise core Optimus, so nothing too special there. We're also going to be getting even more Dinobots, which was kind of alluded to when they announced that they were going to be giving us kind of a Dinobot combiner for Year 2 of Legacy, and that they were also going to be giving us, I think it's Slug and Snarl in the first wave. And basically the next characters to come out for Wave 2 and 3 are going to be Grimlock, Swoop, and Snarl. So yes, we're going to get all 5 Dinobots in the core class, which I think is going to be awesome. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how that kind of small core Volcanicus looks once fully combined. Something which I thought was a little strange when they showed off Slug and Snarl was that it was Slug that was kind of the front chest piece of Volcanicus. I've always been familiar with it being Grimlock's head, so it will be intriguing to see whether or not all of the limbs are kind of versatile. If you can have Grimlock as the torso, or you can have Snarl as the torso, etc. So I'm looking forward to that, but cool that we're going to be seeing some core Dinobots. I just hope they kind of pull their finger out with some of the Studio Series 86 leaders, as it would be so awesome to kind of complete that team before we get round to core. But there's also going to be 2 package refreshes, one of Starscream, which is going to be the version that I imagine we saw for Kingdom, and then basically Bombburst, who we saw very recently, and I think it was the final wave for Legacy Year 1. Fantastic figure, by the way. If you didn't pick that up, I would definitely recommend to check him out. And then finally for core class, a brand new character. There's going to be a core class Scar. Now, when this was first rumored, I honestly didn't have a clue who the character was, but the name did certainly ring a bell, and that's because I've actually reviewed this over on the channel. Scar came out as part of kind of this 4-pack of Micromasters. It came out in the Earthrise toy line, and he was basically the cassette minion to Double Dealer, and I actually thought that figure was pretty cool. One that I definitely wouldn't need an update of anytime soon. So the fact that they're going to be giving us Scar, could this potentially give us an indication that we're going to be seeing even more of those kind of Micromaster cassette bots redone going forwards? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but it is cool that some of those characters which were perhaps a little more budget restricted back in the Earthrise line are getting their own singular standalone release in core class. So looking forward to seeing how this new Scar actually stacks up against the past ones. Now we're going to get stuck into the deluxes. Most of these I've already spoken about, so there's going to be an Insecticon Shrapnel. Super excited to get more Insecticons, as you guys all know. But then there's a deluxe class Prowl. Now, up until this point, all of us, I think for the most part, have been led to believe that this is going to be a redo of his G1 incarnation. But I'm just going to go out on a whim here and say that I actually think, although I'm pretty certain to be fair, that this is actually going to be based on animated. I think in Wave 2 of Legacy Evolution, we could be looking at our first animated character introduction, and I strongly think it's going to be Prowl, and it's just going to be so exciting. I mean, Legacy is just being so diverse. We've got Prime characters, Cybertron characters, Beast Wars, G1, Armada, and now they're going to be dipping their toes into animated. How sick is that going to be? And my point's going to be further backed up when we begin to discuss some of the possible upcoming rumored 2024 stuff. So looking forward to that. Let me know down in the comment section below, would you guys actually prefer an animated version of Prowl, or would you prefer a redo of the G1 version? I also think as well, they gave us so many different versions of that Datsun mold for Earthrise. Would they really bring out a new version this early on? I honestly don't think so. So again, definitely thinking animated Prowls on the card. We're also going to be seeing a deluxe crosscut. Not too excited for this one. It's just basically going to be a redeco of Skids or Burnout that we saw for the Velocitron subline, just redecoed in silver. I mean, it may look cool, but I'm not the biggest fan of the mold, especially if you've checked out my reviews for either of those characters. Then we jump into another deluxe, which is going to be a deluxe Junkion 2. We knew we were seeing more Junkions when we got that Legacy Evolution poster, so looking forward to seeing as to what other character designs they come up with. I mean, most of these Junkions so far have been quite unique, at least what we've seen from Legacy, so that's quite exciting. And now we're going to talk through Voyagers, which I think is really where Legacy Evolution is at the moment. I mean, some of the Voyagers they've been showing off are insane. Tarn and Leo Prime just look nuts. And talking of Leo Prime, we're going to be getting a Voyager class Nemesis Leo, which I think is just going to be a straight up redeco of Leo Prime. We've seen the Masterpiece line very recently announced that they too are going to be doing kind of a Nemesis Leo. Do I think this is a good idea? In all honesty, no. I mean, Leo Prime as it is already quite a niche character. I mean, you've got to bear in mind, the majority of the mainstream audience won't really know who he is. He's kind of a Japanese-inspired character. So to see them giving us a repaint of an already very niche character, I'm not too sure. I personally would have loved for this spot to have gone to another character, or maybe had they saved this repaint for later down the line. I mean, I imagine it's going to look cool, but is it one that I would be personally clamoring for? I honestly don't think so, guys. There's also going to be a Voyager Ramjet. At the time of this recording, it's not known whether it's going to be a singular release of the one that was featured in the Earthrise 2-pack, or if it's going to be a brand new mold. Considering this says package refresh, I imagine it's going to be a standalone release. So not super exciting for me, as I do own the original version, but I know there were so many of you guys that sadly missed out on that pack first time round, so this is a great opportunity for you guys to potentially pick that up. There's going to be a Voyager class Junkion, so this will be our first Junkion that's a Voyager outside of Studio Series. So looking forward to seeing as to what Legacy does. I hear there's been some rumours that potentially they're going to also turn one of these Junkions into an animated Lockdown. I mean, it definitely does sound that way, especially if this animated Prowl turns out to be true, and that the other animated characters that we're going to be discussing for year 3 turn out to be true. So definitely looking forward to that. I mean, animated Lockdown, mwah, chef's kiss in terms of a design. That guy looks sick. And then one of the characters which makes me so excited for Legacy Year 2 would have to be a Voyager class Bludgeon. Now, for those unfamiliar with the character, he's basically a Decepticon samurai, katana wielding nutcase that turns into this sick tank. I mean, he's just such an epic design. They brought out a figure for him, I think it was in the 2010 Revenge of the Fallen or Hunt for the Decepticons line, and I sadly missed out on it, and I've been wanting to get it for so long, but it looked insane. And then a couple of years after that, they brought out this epic third-party version. I think it was by DNA Design. It was called Susanoo, and my goodness, even to this day, I just kick myself as to why I never picked it up, as the design is just insane. So to see we're going to be getting a mainline version of that character makes me super ecstatic, and I'm kind of thinking maybe they're going to repaint slash retool Tarn. I mean, Tarn does look to be an epic mold, and there's a reason why they've put so much budget into that figure. So I do potentially think we could see that character re-released in the form of Bludgeon. Now we're going to get stuck into some super juicy news. Now basically we have what apparently is our first couple of figures for the 2024 Transformers Legacy Year 3 lineup, which at the time of this recording is called Transformers Legacy Uni. Now, could this be Legacy United? Could this be Legacy Universe? Or possibly even Legacy Unicron? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but considering that we're seeing so many of these characters, I think Universe or United is an almost guarantee. I mean, it just makes sense, and believe me, Year 3 is about to get even crazier than Year 2 and 1, so let's just get stuck into it. But it is worth bearing in mind that these figures are way out. I mean, we're talking about the first wave of 2024, which usually doesn't show up until, I'd say, January January of 2024, or usually the last month of the preceding year. So in this case, it would be this time next year, December of 2023. So we're a long way off. So definitely take these with a pinch of salt, but 9 times out of 10, these listings prove to be pretty accurate. So first of all, we're going to be seeing a capsule figure. Now, for those unfamiliar with a capsule, it's basically the Velocitron subline or the Amazon Wrecker subline. It's basically something which is separate from the main line, but they release alongside each other so they can coexist in the same universe. And one of those capsule figures, which we could see released in 2023, by the way, is going to be a leader class G2 Grimlock. Now, personally, this doesn't excite me at all. I mean, I've never been a big fan of the G2 Grimlock color scheme at all. It's kind of this ghastly blue. I'm hoping it looks better when they do it this time round, but some of the past figures, it's just completely turned me off. I am thinking that they're going to use the Studio Series 86 Grimlock. It just makes sense, especially considering that the original G2 Grimlock was based on the original G1 toy, and it's a great opportunity for those who missed out on the original Grimlock, but again, I just think the color scheme is quite bad, to be honest with you guys. Now we're going to talk about some of the big, juicy characters for the main line of Transformers Legacy Year 3, and we're starting off pretty niche. Some characters which I never thought would see the light of day as far as a mainline release goes, and it is a leader class Beast Wars Tigerhawk. Now this is incredibly niche. I think this has got to be one of the most niche characters they've put into Legacy alongside the likes of G-Axis. I mean, this guy had a very, very minimal amount of screen time way back in the original Beast Wars series, and I think up until the present day has only really received one toy from Hasbro, that being the old 90s Beast Wars toy. So you're talking well over 20 years ago. I honestly would never have guessed from a mile away that they would have given us an actual leader class of this in 2024, but judging from this leaked listing, that's exactly what they're going to do, and I'm all for some of these more niche characters being brought to the front, you know, having the limelight finally shone on them. I mean, for the longest time, it really did feel as if though Hasbro were just doing G1 rinse and repeat. So to see that they're actually going to be giving us some of these more diverse characters, I think is excellent. I just hope it doesn't come and burn them on the bum, as I'm personally not too sure as to how many of you guys out there would want an update of this. Let me know down in the comment section below, but I'm excited for it. But one which gets me even more excited would be a leader class G1 Sandstorm. Now Sandstorm, the last time we saw him too was quite a long time ago. I think it was back in the Thrilling 30 toy line. He was a redo or maybe a pre-tool, I'm not too sure, of the Thrilling 30's Springer, which was a triple changer. And for Voyager, it wasn't too bad, but with modern technology and the leader price point, I mean, I think we're potentially looking at our best version of Sandstorm to date, and the fact that this is a leader pretty much confirms that it will be a triple changer. I mean, we've seen it with the likes of Double Dealer, they did Blitzwing, which also was a triple changer, so very, very excited for him. And considering they're going to be giving us Sandstorm, could they potentially give us in a couple of years time a new leader class G1 Springer? I think it would be pretty cool. I mean, I'm more than content with my Voyager version that we saw for Siege, but it would be cool to maybe get a slightly more toon accurate one, maybe one without the battle damage that we saw from Siege. So opens up a few possibilities. And talking of niche, we're about to delve into a whole other universe, a Transformers Voyager Cyber Starscream, or Cybertron Starscream. Now, wow, I mean, Starscream is getting so much love in this Legacy line. We've already seen the Voyager Armada figure, which I thought was fantastic. We also got like a few Studio Series and Eartherized versions of Starscream, so there's a lot of this character coming out. But a Cyber Starscream, one of the coolest designs I think that character had ever got. He just looks insane. The original toy looks nuts, the design looks nuts, so I think this is cool. I do think this could have been one that maybe could have been packaged under leader, so it will be interesting to see how they approach that in the Voyager price point. But if any of the other versions are anything to go by, I think we could be in for a treat. So that's really exciting, and I know it's going to be one that you guys too are pretty thrilled about. And then the one that I think just completely threw me off is going to be another Prime Universe character. So they are continuing the Transformers Prime characters. It's going to be a Voyager Thundertron. Now that too may actually ring a few bells, and that's because we did get a Thundertron figure way back in the 2012 Robots in Disguise Transformers Prime toy line, and it was a Voyager. Now, he was a concept character. He never actually appeared in Transformers Prime, I don't think, in any capacity. I don't even think he appeared in any comic book or video game, etc. But the original Voyager, I actually own it, and it is a fantastic figure. I mean, he's kind of a mix of an Alphatron design and a pirate. I mean, you could actually put off the foot to make it have a peg leg, and then the foot could transform into an almost parrot, and then he would transform into a wolf. It was just such a nuts looking design. So to see it redone, I think it's cool. And again, again, a very niche Transformers character. I mean, they could have given us a Prime-inspired Shockwave or anything from Transformers Prime, but no, they decided to give us Thundertron, a non-appearing character, which I think is really cool. So, looking forward to that. And one which I think is going to make you guys go nuts would be a Voyager animated Optimus Prime. Now, like I alluded to, I definitely think that animated Prowl that is scheduled to come out for the second wave of Legacy this year is going to be animated. So to see animated Optimus, to me it makes perfect sense. And I mean, come on, animated Prime, so nuts. Personally, I never grew up with animated. It was slightly before my time, so I don't actually own any of the toys. And to get a second opportunity in actually owning those designs in some way, shape or form is fantastic news for me. And I know there's a whole other generation out there like myself who too missed out on that. So it is awesome for us to get another opportunity in picking up some of these other designs of classic characters. And for those who are a fan of animated, I think you guys are going to love it. And then finally we have another very niche character, but it is a Beast Wars character, a Voyager Silverbolt. So this does confirm that we're going to be seeing even more Beast Wars characters in Legacy. I kind of thought they were done when they gave us Inferno and then that Transmetals 2 Megatron, but with these Legacy Year 3 listings, we're going to be getting Tigerhawk in the leader and possibly Silverbolt in the Voyager. So very exciting times. I think there's something for everyone at the moment. I mean, live action movie fans have got the studio series, we've also got Rise of the Beasts. Video game fans have got what potentially may be some of those War for Cybertron games in studio series. And then Legacy, I mean, come on guys, animated, Transformers Prime, Cybertron, Armada, G1, Beast Wars. There's just so much going on. It's really quite exciting, and what a time to be a Transformers fan. Every year we're wondering how they're going to top it, and I definitely think these next couple of years, at least the next 2 years, are going to be insane. So I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. Out of everything that was revealed, what gets you guys the most excited? What are you guys most keen on seeing as to how it actually looks and to actually pick up in the collections? And as always, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below on both everything that was discussed in this video. As always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.